I can press the button whenever I want.
Tibo, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, yeah, glad to be here.
Codex will seem primitive in 2 to 3 months. We're about to go through another major evolution. The next generation of models need more than your laptop. What areas, let's start with the harness first. What areas of the harness are still ripe for innovation as a model gets better?
Yeah, so many. So I talked about voice. Like one thing that right now, if you're like a sophisticated user of Codex and any other coding agent, is you sort of have gotten used to a little bit of the clunkiness, right? So you have to manage skill files, and this is like a way to sort of like teach it stuff, but it's also, I think a lot of people have realized it's kind of like hard to maintain over time. The memory is sort of like a thing, but it doesn't always remember everything. Like if you have sub-agents, you have to care about sub-agents, and it's like sort of like constructs a little network. And so the illusion kind of gets broken at various parts when you interact with it. And really what you want is just something that deeply understands you, understands your goals, understands your day-to-day, understands what your team is up to as well. And then optimally sort of like reacts and also is proactive and just helps you in your day-to-day and doesn't break that illusion, right? Of like that's this perfect little partner that you have. And so that's what we're working towards. Another thing that you realize when you have very, very powerful models is that your laptop kind of becomes a constraint in and by itself. The amount of work that you can do on a laptop, it was designed for humans, right? So it's designed roughly to be able to absorb the amount of work that you can produce, or how fast you can type and how fast you can think, how many applications you need open. All these things are human constraints. The model doesn't have the same constraints. The model can, for example, handle 100 applications opened at the same time perfectly fine, maybe in the future. And so in terms of access to resources, it's very clear that models of the future will need access to more than the resource of your laptop.